Welcome, everybody, to Night of the Nerdy Laser podcast, episode 89. We are talking about American Psycho from the year 2000. I am your host, Richard. Hey, Paul Yule.
And I'm Jeff Lown. Wasn't there a Saturday Night Live segment where it was like from the year 2000?
No, it's Conan, man.
And was it Conan?
Conan, yeah, Conan and Andy back when,
When they were on
in their old
NBC
days.
up in the late slot, yeah.
Yeah, I loved in the year 2000.
Well, at least I knew something, kind of.
I mean, you were close. They both worked on SNL, I think, so.
I think so.
At least as writers. So we're going back to the year 2000 and taking a look at Patrick Bateman. Christian Bale, before he was protecting Gotham, he was worried about business cards and he loved to listen to 80s music and to dissect them.
What do you think about Huey Lewis and the news?
I think the dialogue in this movie is spot on, man. It really, I mean, it's a dark comedy. It's not so much horror, but it is bloody. It's kind of perverse in most ways, but I think the dialogue is very strong for the first half of the movie.
Yeah, and I think, well, the movie's from the year 2000, but it's based like mid 80s.
Yeah. I mean, it's based on a book from Brett Easton Ellis that you failed to read for your homework.
But I did read 2 X-Files books and a Stephen Graham Jones novella. So
who the hell is Stephen Graham Jones?
He wrote "My Heart Is a Chainsaw."
Oh, I've heard of
that. Some other one. I can't think what it's called. His other big one. I'll look it up real quick.
Is My Heart Is a Chainsaw good?
Yeah. The little bit I read of it.
Would you?
I didn't finish that one.
You just stop reading? Yeah, that's like me, Jeff.
His other book's called The Only Good Indians, but yeah, it's good like for horror fans, I would say, because it's got a lot of slasher references, which is pretty cool. So,
as an update, I still have my kidney stone. I'm on day 9, so that's great.
All right, what are you gonna name it?
Oh, its name is Spike. I was talking to my buddy Tanner, and we were talking about it, and I was mad, and I said I call him Spike, and so now he'll be like, "How are you and Spike doing?"
That's good.
Doing
good. Could be better.
Well, I go back next week, so the next podcast they may have ripped me open or made me pull it out of my wiener. So we'll see what happens. I would rather them rip me open.
Yeah. Well, listeners have a lot to look forward to then.
I could take video and put it on YouTube. People love that shit.
Put it with Dr. Pimple Popper stuff.
Yeah.
Medical anomalies removed from bodies.
So yeah, that's where I've been here lately.
Nice.
I am conflicted with this movie. I like Christian Bale in most movies. I mean, I don't think he's great or anything. And this was the first time I'd ever seen this movie. Now, I'd heard about it, but it's one of those movies I heard so much about before I saw it. I was just like, I don't want to see it. Same thing happened with Fargo. There was a few movies like that. Reservoir Dogs.
Predator?
Was for sure. What?
Predator? Or you just didn't watch that one?
I mean, I think Predator just had the ill fate of, I mean, it was around when I was a kid and I didn't see it. And then by the time I saw Predator 2 first.
I like that one too, so that's fine.
I mean, it's fine. I mean, we're going to do the Alien versus Predator movie eventually.
Oh, are we?
I'm going to make you.
There we go.
Because I like it. I dig the Alien versus Predator movie. I don't know why people shit on that movie.
Which one's the one where they're
in the city?
Temple, in that like frozen temple. That's the first one, right?
That's the first one.
Okay, and then we got Requiem where they're like in Colorado or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
They're in Pueblo and the Predator's like, this sucks.
Yeah. He's like, I'd bomb it, show it some mercy, but no, let him suffer.
Well, I think it's funny because everybody's like, that movie sucked because it was PG-13, and then they saw Requiem that was rated R, and they were like, that movie sucked
because it was bad.
because it was a bad movie. So, I mean, I actually like both of them. I haven't seen the second one in a while, but I saw the first one not too long ago. I dig it, like I said. Anyway, we'll cover it at one point. So, a lot of people are in this movie.
That's true.
You got Josh Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the businessmen. So Justin Theroux, do you know who that is?
The name's familiar, but I don't.
He's in one of my favorite TV shows of all time called Leftovers.
Okay.
And I actually don't know who he is in this movie. I couldn't pick him out. I mean, because I saw him 20 years later, so I just couldn't pick him out. I'm pretty sure he's one of the businessmen.
Yeah, he was Timothy Bryce, one of his friends, I think.
Okay. And then we get William Dafoe that seemingly owed somebody a favor to be in this movie or something because he didn't really do much.
It's like all through the 90s. That guy just showed up in random things. Like,
isn't he in Boondock Saints in a dress?
Yeah, I think he's a detective in that too. And he's like,
I feel like this is. I
feel
feel
like a continuation of that detective story, like another case on his beat.
Yes, it's the same story. It's the same guy.
Yeah.
And we don't get any closure with him is the funny part.
No, we don't get a lot of closure in anything because this is a weird movie.
Yeah. I'm not sure how I feel about it. So I think that it has a really strong first half. I think it works really well as a dark comedy. The business card switching, comparing and stuff, hilarious. Like it's really funny.
He gets so sweaty.
So everybody's like one-upping each other. And
what's wrong? You're all sweaty.
And then, yeah, I just love it. And they're like, this is embossed. And I went with an eggshell.
Yeah, raised print. No, and real quick, though, Reese Witherspoon was in this and Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Again.
Who was Jared Leto?
Jared Leto was Paul Ellen, so he's the one that gets chopped with the axe.
Oh, yeah.
They're so like slimy, like Wall Street businessmen, and it makes me hate him so much.
I don't even think Witherspoon was in the credits at the beginning.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing.
I didn't remember her name, and then when I saw her, I was like, "Oh, it's Reese Witherspoon." I mean, she did not need to be in this movie. The story of this movie is not great. But the dialogue of the movie is excellent, great comedic timing, great dry sense of humor, dark comedy. But the story is not there. I mean, it's just, there's so much confusion of like, he's engaged, but he's cheating and she's cheating but she's never really around. But when she is, she's talking about marriage.
Yeah.
And you don't even see her at the end or anything.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's cheating. The girl he's with is cheating on her husband or fiance. Then he's getting like prostitutes or escorts, I guess they would be. There's so much going on, but I think that's why I wanted to read the book because I want to say like not knowing if something is like real or really happening or if it's all in his head. I think that plays like a real big part in the novel, whereas in this you kind of like start to slip with him. Like there's dialogue where he's like, I'm into like he says like murders and executions, and then the girl replies back at one point, she's like, yeah, I heard people don't like that. And he's like, excuse me? And she's like, yeah, mergers and acquisitions. I don't think a lot of people like that. And he was like, okay. And then he calls, towards the end, he calls that lawyer and he's like, I murdered everybody. And then we get that weird thing where he's like, you're not him. You're Paul Ellen or something like that. He's like, I murdered Paul Ellen. He's like, no, you're the lawyer's saying he's somebody else. And then he's pretending to be somebody else. So there's just a lot going on. So
and then at the end, which we're not really spoiling because I don't know what the hell happens. Because even after the lawyer's like, you should have picked somebody other than Bateman to play as.
Yeah.
Because Bateman's too much of a pussy.
Yeah.
But he goes back to the table and he's Bateman.
Yeah. And he's
So I don't, and then like the whole, he kills that Paul guy, and then he's getting these prostitutes, and he's doing videotape, and he's telling everybody that he's Paul Allen, and you think he's doing it to then prove that Paul Allen was doing something else.
Yeah, I thought he was building like an alibi to prove he didn't kill Paul Allen or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no, I mean, that's exactly what I thought. That would have been smart. I mean, and instead we just get a movie that I don't feel knows what it is. Maybe the book's different. It'd be interesting to know. I mean, the book's probably better. It usually is. But I think Christian Bale does a really good job with what he's given.
Yeah, he does. He does a good job.
You know who else does a good job?
Who?
Jason down at the dungeon, Southland_dungeon on Instagram. We have our buddy Jason. He hangs out down there with movies, video games, records, messed up puzzles, VHSs, everything in between. He's a jack of all trades, man of all things. I don't know. If you need anything related to boutique Blu-rays, he's your guy. Just go to Southland_dungeon on Instagram. He posts everything he gets. If you're in Maryville, Tennessee, go to his physical store. You can go to southlandbooksandcafe.com to find out more. But if not, just go find him on Instagram. Find the picture you like the best of what you like in there and tell him you want to buy it.
Yep. I think
he's got all kinds of stuff coming in. Every day he posts pictures.
He just posted those second sight releases for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, I stopped down there really quick just to drop something off, and then I had to come up here. But I think he was trying to show them to me, but I'll go tomorrow and see him.
They're about that thick, got a booklet like that thick, and it's a 4K release with tons of extras. And Second Sight does really great stuff.
I was in a Facebook conference. I was just lurking in some group or whatever, and somebody thought, "Do you think 4K is the end?"
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I think so. Just because the difference. I mean, everybody go visit Jason at the dungeon, but this is.
I already plugged him. He doesn't get that much.
All right, yeah, but no. As far as like 4K goes, I think that it's going to be the biggest, like the last upgrade. The next thing would be like some kind of digital thing. So I mean, I wouldn't spend more money after 4K. And even the difference between Blu-ray to 4K, there's a difference, yes, but I wouldn't say it's so much that you need to upgrade every single thing you have. But the difference
why do you do that?
Why do I? So I could send you the movies.
I mean, that's true. I get a good portion.
No, if it's something I really like, I do upgrade to the best collection.
Yeah.
But no, because I want to say the difference between 4K and 8K, the difference is so minuscule that the human eye can't tell, is something I was reading. So
well, and they were saying like TVs, like it would have to be like a bigger TV and stuff. Like
yeah,
like to be able to do 8K, like right now would be basically impossible to have a normal size TV.
Yeah.
And without it costing like $30,000.
Yeah, then you're kind of back at the point when TVs went from big box TVs to flat screens, and those used to be like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and now you could go to your local big box store and grab a flat screen, like 70-inch TV for like $300,
and you can carry it out yourself.
Yeah,
I used to work for a rental company, and we rented out 36-inch TVs, tube TVs.
Your back broke?
My God, I mean, one person ain't doing that, and I was in my 20s, so for sure now, like, because even if it did have the handles, on the top, you're like, you're like monkey walking, like with the TV, and
Yeah.
it's just not working. Like, screw that. I'd rather deliver a refrigerator by myself than a damn 36-inch TV.
Yeah.
And I did both of those. So I did a refrigerator by myself one day because they have
Mine-
a refrigerator dolly. They don't have
yes.
36-inch 2 TV dollies, so you're just
No.
screwed.
That's called like construction, like a construction vehicle where it would just you'd have to have some like a crane to lift it up because it's so heavy.
um,
Construction vehicle. What the hell?
uh, we
Dumb
don't know.
idiot.
We just stay inside and watch movies. We don't know what the hell we're doing. Um, so I mean, what is one of your favorite scenes in this movie?
I do like the Huey Lewis scene because he's like just
I like the way he's walking, like,
and he like walks and he's holding that axe like on his side and he hides it and like sets it. And then that guy's like, "What do you got? A little dog in here or something?" And he's like, "Ah." And then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you," and just smashes his head. I like that, and the business card scene are probably the two that stick out.
Yeah, the business card scene is great. I mean, I knew about this scene before, but just because memes and my friend love this scene. But when he's having sex with the two girls and he's just like winking at himself and showing off and stuff, but I just think the movie, like, I mean, I wouldn't mind owning the movie, but I just think that it's not a good movie. It's probably a better characterization of what we would think of Wall Street in the 80s.
Probably at
Like,
one point
and I'm
he's
not saying that's a true story of what I'm just saying, like a character, like just maybe over exaggerating or whatever, you know.
yeah, that like lavish lifestyle that they're living. Like every 5 minutes they're dropping a name or they're dropping a restaurant name that like is so hard to get into. You know,
He calls that restaurant, and he's like, see, we're in, and she's like, but you didn't give him your name, and he's like, they know
they know
me.
me. Yeah, no, like it's a good like character study on like the Wall Street people in the 80s, like you're saying. And I think I really should read the book because I want to say it kind of you really get into that stuff more, but it's really interesting. And this movie has like that cult following, I would say. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh
it's
no. I mean, I
pretty
think this
popular.
movie is very popular, but I don't think it's aged well. I mean, I think the people that used to love it probably don't love it as much as they used to. And I mean, that could be for a number of reasons. I mean, I mean, I think if I was 20 and seen this movie before anybody else, it would be very much like Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh,
Like
I
I
love
was,
that movie.
well, so I saw Napoleon Dynamite before any of my friends did, and like internet was around, but not like it is now, you know. And I just rented it because I used to watch that. I think how I found out about the movie was that Attack of the Show.
Oh, I loved Attack of the Show.
God, I love
It was
Attack
so
of the
good.
Show on
It was so
G4
good.
TV. Yeah. Well, Chris
R.I.P.
Gore used to do his Tuesday movie thing.
Yeah.
And I think Napoleon Dynamite was one of them.
Oh, really?
And I believe that's how I found out about it. That's how I found out about Old Boy.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
that's how I found out about Old Boy.
So the way I found out about Napoleon Dynamite, I used to hang out with the dude in high school. So I was probably our freshman year, so it would have been 2004, like right when Napoleon came out. But we'd go over his house and just watch stuff, and we watched that, and like the first time I watched it, I was like, I don't understand what this movie is, like I don't get it. But then I watched it again. I'm like, I love this movie, and that was how he had G4 at the time too, so he might have saw it on there too
Yeah.
because he always had like good movies to watch. And I saw Gummo originally, Harmony Korine's movie. It's so weird, but it's another good one I think. But it's very weird. That's another one that we kind of found hanging out and watched like that too, and I was just so weirded out, like creeps me out.
I watched Napoleon Dynamite and I thought it was funny. And then I immediately took it over to my friend's house and we watched it again. and we laughed our asses off. And I mean, I just showed that movie to everybody.
Yeah,
It's really funny.
yeah. It
Favorite scene of all time is when he's selling the Tupperware and he puts it underneath the van and he runs over it and he just drives off.
Puerto Rico. I just watched him in Joysticks. Have you ever seen that movie? Joe Don
That's an
Baker's
old
in it.
movie, right?
It's an old movie, and he plays like a punk dude in it.
Oh, he does.
I'll send you a picture. He looks so weird and so different, and you're
I
like,
want to
"That's
see
Uncle
that
Rico."
movie. I think it's on Tubi or
It
something. I
is. That's
thought,
where I just
yeah.
watched it.
Is it
Yeah,
just a funny '80s movie?
yeah, it's like a teen sex comedy kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I've seen it twice now. I think the Blu-ray's out of print. It was a code red and goes for like crazy amounts of money. I used to have it, but that's one I did sell off. Anyway, the I was saying, from watching movies like that in high school, like middle school to high school, kind of hanging out with those friends, like that's where I developed like my collecting of movie habits and trying to find like other stuff. Because I remember I would go to Walmart because movies always come out on like Tuesday, so
Hmm.
I'd go like at midnight
Oh
on
yeah.
Monday to the Walmart to see what they were opening in the boxes and be like, all right, I got to find something. But I remember finding Grandma's Boy like that. And I was like, this is Happy Madison. I was like, I think that's like Adam Sandler. And Adam Sandler at the time was still Adam Sandler that everybody
Yeah.
loved. I mean, he's kind of had a renaissance.
Yeah, he's better now.
Yeah. But yeah, it was. That's like one of my all-time favorite movies. It's just so stupid.
It's a race car bed. Yeah, but it's a sweet race car bed.
Yeah, Laura Croft. Come on. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's that's that one. Strange Wilderness, which was another Happy Madison.
I never saw that one. That one's like the sequel, right?
Sort of, yeah.
I
It's
mean,
just
it's
like
a
weird.
spiritual sequel, like it's the
Yeah.
same people.
Oh, it's all the same guys pretty much. But yeah,
And
that one's
Steve's on.
yeah, Steve Zahn. I love Steve Zahn.
Yeah, he's
Go
really
back
funny.
and listen to our episode on Joyride if you
Oh
want
yeah,
Steve
he's in
Zahn.
that. I forget. I do forget that. Yeah, Joyride's in the archives. So yeah, I mean, we can talk about the movie, and we have, and I think we're done. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the problem with this movie is very dialogue heavy, and I think it's very smart. I love the way Christian Bale communicates like his love for music,
Yeah,
and like he goes in depth, and everybody around him like gives two shits about it.
yeah.
Like nobody he tells people about these songs, or like when he's talking about Phil Collins and then
What?
Genesis and all that, um the girls just give two shits about it.
Yeah, yeah. And then the other girls, when he has the other two girls in, he's talking about Whitney Houston and how he enjoys her music, and they kind of like laugh at him, but he's like, no, if you actually like listen to her lyrics and understand what she's trying to say within an emotional state, it actually describes it very well. And like he's so the character he plays in this is so like perfect. Like he's perfect in it, like the way he plays the character.
Well, he likes Whitney Houston because that album has 4 #1 hits. I mean, that's pretty good.
He did say that, yeah.
No, I mean he's a perfect choice for this. What's that?
I saw The Bodyguard in theaters
You did?
with my mom.
I
She
saw.
always
I don't
said,
think I saw it in the theater, but I do love The Bodyguard.
Kevin Costner killed the 80s and 90s, didn't he? Like there was no
It's
one
just the
bigger.
guiltiest pleasure movie. I mean, they have no chemistry together. Whitney Houston. But I saw Steel Magnolias with my mother.
I remember you telling me that. Yeah, no, my mom would take me to anything
And
she wanted to
Parenthood.
see.
Yeah,
Titanic.
Parenthood was funny. I still didn't find what was funny about the air cleaner, but I eventually figured it out.
Yeah, Titanic was one she dragged me to.
Oh,
Like,
I went on that. I went on a date to that movie.
Well, that's better than going with your mom, I guess. I don't know.
Nah, this wasn't. um, I had an intermission. Did yours have an intermission?
I can't remember. It was so long and I was so young and I was like, I just want to sleep. And she's like, shut up. There's like 7 hours left.
I had a smoke break. That's why I know there was an intermission in Titanic.
Oh yeah, I remember
Like,
you guys talking about that. That's funny. But no, if we jump back to like Patrick Bateman, that's our guy, right?
Mhm.
Okay. It just like I said, I think the movie does so well with his character and the way he kind of unravels. The movie starts to kind of reflect that as it goes on. Like you're saying though, the first half definitely stronger as far as that goes. Like just how crazy he is, how he goes over his routine towards the beginning of the movie. He's like, I put one face mask on, then I put
Oh,
acid,
I love the opening.
and he's like, and then I take a bath with the eucalyptus thing, and then I put this
The ice,
conditioner
the
on.
ice thing. That I mean, it's similar to my routine every morning, Jeff.
Yeah, that's the Richard routine.
Yeah.
Like he does all this stuff, and like I said, it kind of captures that overabundance and self-care and like lifestyle of name dropping and stuff that people back then, probably people still today still do, but I think it captures it perfectly. I mean, I wasn't there obviously, but when I think of it, that's kind of what I think. So
Have you
maybe,
ever seen Secret of My Success?
is that
Michael J. Fox.
yeah, I haven't seen it.
It sort of feels like that movie in many ways.
Really,
You should see it. It's a really weird movie.
where he kind of just doesn't he just like kind of lie his way through to become successful?
Kind of. And then like I think he has sex with his aunt or something. His stepmom, or I
Wait,
don't
why
know.
does he do that in all of his movies?
No.
Stop it.
So the cool thing about American Psycho is it has a 4K steelbook.
Oh,
Unfortunately, and it's amazing. But unfortunately, it's about $100 now.
out of print.
Yeah.
One of
So
those Best Buy releases.
yeah, it was a Best Buy release, and so you peel up the sleeve,
Oh,
and he peels off his face mask.
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool. I remember when it was coming out, and then I remember not ordering it, and then I remember crap.
Regretting it.
Yeah.
There was one scene, since I had mentioned it earlier about those Texas Chainsaw 4Ks that came out. There's two scenes where he's watching a movie in the background while he's talking on the phone. One is a porn.
Well, yeah.
The other one is Texas Chainsaw
Chainsaw.
Massacre.
The end,
Yeah, where she's getting
where he's like spinning around and
yeah.
yeah.
They do like a weird edit because it's the part where he's pulling the one girl and she's kicking and screaming back into the house. But then, like as the conversation went on, like towards the end of the conversation, it's where he's doing the spinning, like you're saying, and then we kind of get a reflection of that in one of the parts where the escort leaves the room and he's running down the hallway naked with the chainsaw and like throws it at her.
That's so weird. So he threw it down the stairwell and it just happened to hit her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that scene was great. That woman deserves she was great in that movie.
Yeah, and because he always gets two escorts at once or two girls at once, and then like we see that he's like stabbing one of them because then
that's when she runs.
Yeah, that's when she runs, and then he like tackles her and like bites her leg. He's like biting her Achilles heel or something like
Well,
that.
at the beginning of the movie, he makes her wash her vagina.
Yeah. And that's how he refers to her doing it. Please wash it, or whatever.
Yeah, the way he taught. So apparently, this movie, the book got banned from Simon and Schuster, which makes me want to read it more.
Oh, really?
Because I mean, obvious reasons, very violent and misogynistic, which it is.
Yeah.
But I think it's all making fun of itself. I mean, I don't think it's meant to be that way to do harm, or portray a real situation. I mean, it's obvious by the end of the movie, like he is crazy. Like you don't know what's happening. Like when he goes into the apartment of Paul and she's like, you shouldn't be here. And it's like, why? I don't understand.
Yeah, the landlord or whatever it was. She's like, are you my 2 o'clock? He's like, this is Paul Allen's apartment.
Yeah, it's a very, I mean, what I thought going into it would be a pretty simplistic movie, like just like a business guy kills girls, people, whatever, and then it's over. But
Yeah.
it's not. It's not that way at all. And I think if it was that way, it might be a little better.
Yeah, it's more of a character study and like an internal reflection piece or something like that. Like, are we all crazy, or
Like a
you know?
dark comedy falling down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. I love Falling Down. It's a good movie.
Oh, I love falling down.
He just wanted breakfast.
I mean,
That guy should
10:05.
have just given breakfast. Could have stopped a lot of that.
Yeah. Um. So I don't know. You got any remaining words about this movie?
No, not necessarily. I did want to look up something here real quick. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
Not really. I'm just sad that like the beginning was so strong and then the end kind of goes all over the place, and at the end of the day it's not as good. I mean, cuz halfway through I'm like, fuck, this movie is so good. And then it just kind of isn't by the end.
I mean, I think a rewatch would help you on this one for sure.
Maybe.
I'm not the biggest fan of this. Um, I've kind of been at the same spot, like rewatch after rewatch. So, but I did want to read this trivia because I find it really interesting. It says, looking for a way to create the character of Patrick Bateman, Christian Bale stumbled onto a Tom Cruise appearance on The Late Show with David Letterman from 1993. According to co-writer and director Mary Herron, Bale saw in Cruise this very intense friendliness with nothing behind the eyes. And I find that kind of interesting because, it's Tom Cruise. Interestingly, he's actually featured in the novel. He lives in the same apartment complex as Bateman, who meets him in an elevator and gets the name of cocktail wrong, calling it bartender. And that's in the novel. That's kind of interesting. And I don't know. I like that. Let's see what else. There's a sequel, American
Darn
Psycho
Jackie.
2. Yeah, it's got what's her face.
Mia Kunis.
That's it. Um, the single biggest cost on the film was purchasing the rights to various songs used throughout it. Let's see.
I do want to bring up that Einstein Kills, who you hate and I like. I mean, I like their horror movie stuff. I find it interesting. I dig it. I dig the references in the songs. And Hip to Be Scared was the song off their second release, the Welcome to Horrorwood. And I liked it before I saw the movie. I highly recommend you searching that out, listening to it. It's really funny. It's not a typical song, really. Like, it has weird breaks, but it pays probably the best homage to American Psycho that anything could.
Yeah. From what you showed me, it for sure makes it feel exactly like the movie.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah. But no,
So,
like anything else, I mean, let's go ahead and rate it and then kind of give our last little thoughts on it.
how many bloody business cards out of 5 would you give this?
I'd give this one a 3. So a little bit better than average. I mean, depending on kind of how you watch it, might bump it up to like a 3.5. Like I said, a character study piece rather than just like an overall like horror movie or something like that. But
Yeah.
and he does. There's times in the movie where he references like serial killers. I think he mentions Ed Gein
Ed
at one
Gein.
point. He mentions Ted Bundy at another point. So he's kind of everything he kind of tells people. People don't care about
They
anything
don't give
he's
two
saying.
shits about it. Like,
Yeah,
that's why I find it weird. Like, does anybody actually exist?
yeah. Or if everything's just been going on in his head.
Yeah. I mean, I was at a 4 in the first like 25 minutes of this movie, and I'm down to a 3. I think it's watchable, and I think I could watch it on a rewatch and probably enjoy it a little better. But it's for sure comical, and if you don't know much about it, I mean, you do after this podcast, but there's still some really funny references, and really some good acting by some people that you know now.
Yeah,
Most of these people weren't known back then.
Yeah. Well, what's her name was known. Reese.
Witherspoon.
Yeah, from Election.
I mean, it's the year 2000, so I mean,
What year was Election? 95, 97?
I
Pretty
don't
quick.
know.
With Matthew Broderick.
I don't know.
Doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
Well, she wasn't popular enough to be on the opening credits of this movie. So anyway, that's episode 89. Next week is episode 90, and tell them what it's about, Jeffrey.
Episode 90 is going to be horror TV shows volume 1. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, because it's a pretty broad topic. We could talk about a lot of stuff, but we're going to talk about some of our favorite horror TV. There's a lot of it now, and we've gotten a lot in the last probably 10 years.
It's true. I'm going to have to do some research and think about it.
Yeah, there's quite a bit out there. So
yeah, it'll be more of a roundtable discussion. We're going to probably go back and forth and talk about different shows. So if you all have any horror shows you want us to mention or talk about, please email nightofthenerdylaser@gmail.com. And we are working diligently behind the scenes to have a website. So it's a work in progress. It's not able to launch yet, but I'm trying to make it very different and cool and something fun to go to if you're a fan of this show. So I hope you all enjoyed this episode. And after 90, I think we should do Martin for 91.
you want to do Martin?
Yeah, let's do Martin.
All right, we can do that.
I mean, it just had a huge release right now, and so it's on everybody's mind. And I've never seen it, which is no shock to anybody.
Yeah, one of these days I'll get to pick a movie again. I swear. No.
Okay. It's my show now, Jeff.
I'm the captain now.
What movie do you want to do after Martin?
Oh, it's a secret. I don't know.
This is why you people can't make a damn decision. Just pick a damn movie. They all suck.
Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead. I'm down for Pumpkinhead.
If it's streaming,
it's a springtime. Oh, I'm sure it's a Tubi special.
It's better quality than Tubi. I'd say Shudder at best.
No,
Pumpkinhead streaming on Tubi and Shudder.
Pumpkinhead is perfect because it's springtime. It's a folk tale. I live in the mountains. We have Brian Bremer coming to Bride of FrankenCon in Alcoa, Tennessee, right outside of Knoxville. So you can go to FrankenCon TN for all the details. It's June 9th and 10th, coming up very soon. So get your tickets now. That would help. We'd appreciate it. We got Brian Bremer. We got CJ Graham. We got Felissa Rose, Banjo Boy from the Deliverance, first shark kill from Jaws, Frank Henenlotter from Basket Case, Brain Damage, Frankenhooker. We also have Kevin Von Hintenrick from Basket Case. We have Patty Mullen from Frankenhooker. It's so weird. I have Patty's number, and I just text her when I need something.
Post to our YouTube page that Ric Flair promo you sent me.
I know.
Please.
It is great.
Everybody needs to see that.
Yeah, Patty Mullen was Penthouse. What do they call him? Penthouse
Pet of the Month or Pet?
Pet of the Month, Pet of the Year. I think it was. I think it was a big deal for Patty, and she's on WCW Clash of the Champions, 1998. It's pretty fantastic.
Ric Flair just screaming about stuff like usual.
And then every now and then he'd be like, Patty Mullen. Yeah. We're on an airplane. We're getting off the airplane. We're getting in a limo. Patty Mullen.
Yeah.
It's like he has no clue who she is. And I don't think she had done movie. I don't think Frankenhooker hadn't been done. So
it was what? That was 90?
Yeah, and Doom Asylum might have been probably around the same time.
Yeah, that's one I want to cover on our other show, Trash Talk. So, you guys are interested in Trash Talk?
Yeah, Trash Talk is over on our YouTube channel. Sometimes we can download stuff, sometimes we can't. And right now we can't, but there are things that you can watch. Just look up Night of the Nerdy Laser podcast on YouTube, and you will find some live podcasting, live unboxing, some Trash Talk episodes. Our Trash Talk show is much different than this one, and it is available on Tingler Television. You ask yourself, well, what is Tingler Television? It's a horror channel that is available on Roku. So you go to your Roku, open it up, add a channel, Tingler Television, and then you can watch live programming. And we're usually on like Wednesdays at 9, I believe,
I
usually.
think the schedule for this week was Wednesday and Friday.
Yeah, so you can follow Tingler Television on Facebook. You can follow me, Richard Yule, over on Facebook for anything that I talked about. I'll post over there, and you can find out all the things there. So, other than that, I'm tired of talking. And until next time, what should they do, Jeff?
They need to keep it bloody.
Because, hey, Paul says to.